All right, it is time to set up our body. Let me disable our hair and go into our skin geometry. First, we want to rename this node because we never did. And we want to create a new group. So let's just get a group combine and put it in here. And now when we enable the handle and say, okay, this should be called group body, it should equal the group head. And now we can say we make here an operation with our group mask. I think it should be exclusive or yes. So now we got the group mask and the group head got subtracted, and we can use that for our body. About the thickness, I tried it out before already, and our hair is way too thin for the body. So we want to increase the thickness overall for our body and leave it the same for now on our face. How we do that is we set the color to 25, set the brush to 1, and now say as operation, like as merge mode, multiply, apply that to everything. Now our whole attribute, skin attribute, got multiplied with that value, and it is only 25% the strength anymore. Now let's go back to a value of 1, move the mode to replace, and we draw here a little bit. I leave out the legs, like the feet, and draw here. All right. So we want to have like thicker hair in this area still. And then here we're already gonna start smoothing. I think we got everything, so now we got to smooth and start smoothing out the areas here. Okay, I think for the feet and the legs, that's fine for now. Let's focus here on the neck. Let's smooth that quite a lot. All right, I think that's good. So we got our thickness attribute, and now for the groom, let's rename our first groom we had to something like groom head. And for our groom body, I would like to copy the setup we had in our part 4 video, creating groom groups. So I got the other scene open. I just copied that node, paste it now into this scene. Will take a bit. Here we go. Let's disable this node and check it out. So we still got the group head here. We want to change this to group body. And in this node here, we forward the thickness attribute. We also want to do this in this one. And now let's go in here and press escape right away because we don't want to calculate anything. We go to the plant guides and reset the strokes. Since this is a guide groom node, and hit escape again so we can enable this one. Reset the strokes. Now it plants the guides on our body, and we are here in the group in the blasting section. We don't want to use this selection for now, so we just delete the selection out here. This is quite important that you delete it, because if you don't do that, there might be issues. since the group selection actually has no selection, so I might just delete everything. So just remove the group from now from the blast. All right, before we continue, we go to our nodes here. Hit escape again because it starts calculating. Reset the strokes. Same here, reset strokes. Same here, reset strokes. And reset strokes. Because everything we did in those nodes we don't need anymore. So we delete all the strokes we did. Now let's go to the length here. We need to adjust our length attribute. So let's start painting the length. We want to have like full length for now on this area here on the top. And a little bit less on the legs. Keep it shorter on this area for now. We will adjust the length then accordingly later on to what we need. Oops. Let me change to screen brush. All right. We need some more color here. I think that's fine here. So let's go with full color again, but a little bit less opacity so you can blend in here. I think that's fine. Now let's also blend the values here. All right. The rest will be done. We just smooth the rest out then. Once we painted it here. Okay, looks good. So let's go to the smooth and start smoothing that out here. Like a lot. And we have to see then which values we actually need for the length. But I think what I just paint right now might fit kinda. So we need to also smooth like this area here. All right, that looks decent. So let's save this scene here. And now we enable our length. All right, yeah, looks decent. Too short here, but that's fine for now. Let's go to our merge. That works. We want to delete that resample. As we talked once, we don't want to resample within the groom because it gave us issues with later with the hair. So it's the mirror and guides, and you can see everything works fine. So next step is to paint our groups. Let's go here and disable all of those group modes here of the group transfers so we can paint nicely. So we enable this one and paint here now. Okay. Reset all changes. Now we have to figure out what we take as group. For this first one, it should be our group for everything. The second group, we want to have the front leg. Or actually, yeah, we want to use the front legs. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but we'll correct it then in a second. So the front here, move it up here. I would say and also array in this here. Oops. All right, so we don't take that edge with into the group. Okay, I think that's fine. Now here we can go a little bit bigger and delete this part. We only do the setup once, so let's do it proper. This looks good. So those are our front legs. Now us yellow, and our back legs is gonna be blue. So also reset all changes here and get the legs in here. You also get this arrow in between into our group. So it's easier to control then. All right, and up this area here. I think that's a decent grouping here. All right, so let's see what we got. We enable our transfers again. Let's go to the first brush. So this is red. This is nothing. So let's merge. Okay, we have to change this one actually. So here we want to have reset all changes. Let's take this group for the belly area only. So we only take the paint it on the top here for the belly area, because we might need to do more work on this area too. So let's group it. Okay. Now when we enable this again, and check out. That's our red group. And let's go to an merge so we see everything. Actually, our blue group is not working. So let me check this one out. It's the back legs, front legs, belly. That should work fine. So let me check out the color node. That's also fine. Like red, yellow, blue, green, merge. Yeah. Now everything works. We can check out what we have if there is something wrong, like a green guide going on somewhere in between, like here, we don't want them. So let's go to our red group and also get this area here within our red group. And here I think we want to add this to the leg here. That's good. That's for yellow, it's fine here. Those two here we also added to our red group. Yeah, something like this. I think that is decent enough. So when we go to mirror and now guides, we got our groups, just need to turn off the shading. There's still our geometry here, which we might not want. Yeah, it's this guy here, our paint node. Let's see if we can turn that actually off here. Don't think so for now. But that's fine. You just leave it at this for now. Let's start with just making the basic directional groom here. Maybe we can adjust our settings here a little bit. Okay, we got that. I wonder still how we can turn this guy off here. All right, let's start painting. First, the red part. So we can also only enable the red part, so we see that. Let's bring them in a little bit here. And we can get them out here a little bit. Let's also show the other groom. So we have like a reference of length and where the hair goes here in the neck area. All right, so we can push that a little bit here. and bring that like also in here a little bit, so it follows more of what we already had. That looks decent enough. So let's go to the next one. Yellow it is. And brush this guy down here. Actually, I'm not sure if it... No, it doesn't. It doesn't collide with our geometry. So let's see what the issue is here. We got this lift. Oh, we don't have a geometry input feed for our brush nodes. Let's quickly change this. So we just feed the skin input into our brush nodes here. And now when we go to painting here, it should actually also lift this guy and reset the changes. No, it actually doesn't do that. So let's see what's wrong. We might need a VDB for that. So let's check this out. Reset all strokes. Yeah, so we needed the VDB for that part, which is fine. We can also take the VDB from our length node. Before we do so, let's break it up here. Feed the VDB into our grooves. All right. And now we can work with proper lift values on our guides. What we already know is that here they come out to the back. So let's already include that a little bit in our groom, like in our first step. Like we said, okay, they come back out here. Something like this. They also go a little bit out on the front. So let's also take care of this here. Here we create some more volume then I guess later on. Hair needs to be a little shorter in this area. Maybe go down here. When we look on the side, need to get this down here. Maybe create some volume here. Let's check it out here. All right, for the first rough one, let's do the same for this guy. So we brush it down here. We bring it out a little bit here in the back. Create some volume here on this side. It's fine. From this side, you need to go down here. I don't like that we have this area here included. So I would want to have this included into, well, for sure not this part. So the question is why it's still included here. Let us check this. Yeah, doesn't matter. It's just, let's take it as it is, I guess, or try to fix it. It's for sure it's an issue here with the our distance here. So what we can do, reduce sum here, and that should also deselect the ones here. I was hoping so. Let me see if there is something I'm missing. We have to recache that one, I forgot. No, it adds even more. It's quite crazy. Do we also have to recache this one? Oh yeah. So this is like really strange that it does that thing here. And I'm not sure how to fix this area, because it's for sure like a distance thing here. Oh, I disabled this one, so let's turn this down. See what happens with lower distance. Okay, now it deleted it. That's fine for us. Recache this one. So we have to turn up the distance a little bit. That's just like, as you can see, fixing some stuff until it works actually. So now we got everything included here. Still got some here, so let's quickly check what's going on here. If it deleted some faces. No, it should be totally fine. So that part just seems to be a little bit wonky. Okay, we fixed it. Great. So now let's go to the green one and paint this guy. Let's turn on the merge so we can see what we already did. We paint it down here. Also here, just paint it downwards. Here we came a little bit in the front. Here we can already start with this part. Just get up to here. Spread it out here. Spread them. Okay, now we need the gradient, the fall off here. You can already see that our hair is a little bit long overall. All right, I think for first test, this will be decent enough before we continue in detail. Let's get this this guy up and going with some smooth. Smooth. So we need a smoothing radius. Let's turn this guy up and smooth out our painting. Yeah, doesn't really work here, but it works for the rest. Okay, screen brush. Let's change the fall off of our brush. That's fine already. So we change the strength a little bit and we paint those guys down. So we want to have a nice transition here. All right. Something like this. Great. So let's mirror them and let's go back to our hair. When we go in there and hit escape first, because we want to do something here in the resample. Right now we got a segment length of 0.1. Let me check this out here. When I go to info, we have 106,000 hairs and they generate over 3 million points. And that is just too much to use it on the whole body and work in a fluent way. So I would want to reduce that. We can say the segment length now should be like 1 instead. So when we check out the segments, what's created, we put it back to 1, you see the difference in the amount of points. So now we have roughly 10 points, 11 points per hair, which is created in average. So that's better, and I think that's enough detail for us to work with, and we can turn it up again later on. Let's also check our emission nodes here, if they are still using groups. Like this one is using a group, and the one for the hair is not using a group, so that's fine. And let's also check hair clump pick. That's not a generator, right? That's a clump, so that's fine. Okay, let's check out the fur. I haven't saved, so I hope it doesn't crash now. Let me escape this and save first. And now go to the last node. All right, so this is enabled, and now if you turn it on, we don't see anything. Why is that? So it's here. Oh, it's because we have the thickness disabled. All right, now we have the fur. The bounding box is still enabled, so we have to turn this off. I think here for the skin, actually, we can turn off this option. No, it still shows us the skin painting. So let's just go to our shaded view. All right, yeah, we want to turn off the bounding box. And for now, let's also turn off the grooms and turn on the prune so we don't have all the fur. Let's even turn it up more. Turn off our bounding box. And now we have to check out, okay, we still have the group head here and hair, so we delete that. And now we should get hair on the whole body. And let's see how that looks like. That works not as expected. Oh, because we have not used that groom yet. So what we can do is use a merge node. It's called groom merge. Get the head groom, the body groom, and move that into the groom data. Yeah, now it takes a little bit longer. I pause for a second, and here we are. So when I move this down here now and get the groom merge here, reorder this a little bit, turn off the groom merge, you can now see we got our body and our head. Now the important thing is that our densities are very different, as you can see. And we have to deal with that. So let's check out what we actually do here. So the density of the groom itself is similar. And therefore we have to quickly check out our density map. That is used correctly. Let's turn off those two options here. And we will check back in the graph then and go quickly from top to bottom in the graph to see what's going on and where the issue might be. All right, so in the UV texture, let me turn off our grooms. In the UV texture, we have like less density here since we painted the density. So that should be fine. Let's continue here. We got the resamper. Let's find the guide group for our parting. Then we got some frizz. And now we have to actually paint all our masks because we mostly only painted them for the body. So let's do that. The clump mask peak, that is already looking okay. But I might want to adjust it a little bit. So less clumping here in this area. Then you have a clump here in that area. You might want to clump more inside the legs and here. Also like in this area a little bit more. Yeah, just take it like this. Quickly smooth over it in general. All right, that's fine. So let's go through all the masks first before we enable something. That is the clumping where we want to actually clump our inputs for the actual clump node. And we also want to clump here. So we want to have clumping here for sure. The same we have for the neck part. Oh man. All right, so we're adjusting the clump mask peak here. I had to pause for a second because I had some issue with the scene. So here we go. Let me change this brush quickly to not oriented. Okay. Remove. That's the Yeah, that's actually clumps which then feed into the rest. Because I had to recreate some stuff here on the scene. I still have the wrong group in here. So let me delete this. All right, so let's see what we got here. Yeah, we need some clumping here, this area. So let's also add some here. And inside of the legs a little bit. And I think we can also go like here inside. And yeah, maybe even on the body, have some of that clumping going on. Let's move that and see what we get. Like this is what we have to refine later on a lot. We have to refine our groom and we have to refine those maps here. Let's turn it on again. So we get some clumping here. Some here. We might even want to have more here, but I think it is because of the clumping size. If I turn it up to like 5, it works better here, but it doesn't work here. And we don't want to destroy something here. So clump big clump is clump big clump. So it's 1 here. Yeah, you might want to change that actually. Like multiplied by 0.5. So we can increase the values here. Let's quickly do that. So instead of 3, we want to have 6 distance. And now we want to multiply this whole map here with 0.5, so we get the same result here again. But apply to all. Oh wait, that was a smooth, so let me undo this one. Paint, multiply, apply to all. If we now go to clumping, we should have the same here again. I hope so, that I didn't screw it up. And now we can increase it actually here. So when I paint here now, bring that to 1. So replace the operation again and we bring it to 1. Over here is move, so paint. Yeah, we get bigger clumps here. So let's try this out with the values here. And let's go with something like blur. Let's blur here the area. And now use the smooth to smooth that out. All right, let's go to hair clump. We get some bigger clumps here, so that might work. I think we kept our clumps in this area. So let's see the next map which we got. It's the clump mask peak. We already adjusted this one, so this should be fine. So when we go to the clumping, we see we got clumping here, like nice big ones. We still got our clumping going on here. So that's nice for now. Let's continue with our clump mask medium. We already have that for the whole body, so that's fine. We can leave it as like this for now. Let's continue with the next one. Tightness. So this is you know, those tight little thingies we get here. We have them now everywhere. We might want to remove them at certain places. So let me remove them here in this area And like also on the legs, for sure we don't, whoops, let me change that. We don't want them like here, because we basically want them most often to happen in the clumpy area. So we just remove them here on the leg stuff. We don't have to completely remove it. For now, we can still tweak it later, but get an approximate idea and value what it could look like. This area and here. All right, now, as always, let's just put the opacity up and smooth this out again. So for this area, I think I still want to paint it a little bit so we get like an even area and not what we have right now here. Let's just remove it on the back, you know, average here. Something like this. Let's move again. Yeah, I think that is good enough. Maybe here. That's good enough. So let's check the clump mask medium. That one actually might need to have needs adjustment. Because, oh, sorry, no, it doesn't, because it just did show wrong. So that's fine. This is fine. Clump mask medium frizz. Let's see about this one. I would think we want to have quite some frizz, so we can just put the brush to 1, put the color to like 7, and just paint this value for everything here. And that should be fine. Oops. Medium frizz. Again. So brush at 1, clump medium. All right, something like this. Also like on the legs, let's paint it here. And we're good to go. Probably wouldn't even need to smooth that one for now because it's like really just beginning. Looks good. So we have this one, we have the medium, or the lift. Let's see, the lift doesn't need anything. There's more clump we need for sure. A lot of clump, not that much, no here. Let's increase it a little bit. also on the belly area. Yeah, looks good. Clumping the medium tips. Yes, we can increase that in the big clumpy area. And also like in this area a little bit here. Like I want to see this area here behind the leg, a little bit clumpy, like a little bit of the frizzy clump feeling. All right, that's good enough. That's our parting, we don't need that. And let's enable the hair and see what we got. So let's start from the top to see how it works out. And let me turn up the density a little bit by removing some of the prune so we see the results a little bit better. What I can already see is like the clumps which are created here, they're like super big. And yeah, I'm not sure if that's gonna look good later on, but we will see. Yep, I think it will actually. All right, let's go through this. Frizz length, let me disable this guy. So the frizz length does some frizzing, that's fine. Guide partition doesn't matter. So let's go to the big hair clumps. Get some nice clumps here, bigger clumps here. Yeah. I think that could work decently. Maybe some more clumping here, a little bit less in some other areas, but that might work good. So let's see the frizz, which gets added. Yeah, you can see maybe this becomes a little bit too frizzy in this area here, and through big clumps. So you might remove them in this area. Let's go to the medium clumps and add them. The medium clumps appear really big, so let me quickly check the clumping here. We might need to adjust the density, like here. I'm not sure if we have a density map for our hair generation here. Like it just grows here. Maybe we might want to paint actually a density map to have some more clumps here. Like medium clumps to break it up a little bit. Let me go back to the medium clumps, turn it on. And we add some bands to our medium clumps. Now we are actually don't like how this area is set up here, because we cannot read what's going on. So let's change this. That's better. The frizz on our medium clumps. All right. Here we get all our small clumps. So let's check out that operator. Yep, that's all our small clumps. And then let's disable this node so we can see the difference. Actually, yeah, we see a difference. All right, so that's adding another layer of clumping. Then the frizz of the small clumps. That's there. That's just our parting here. We can move this down here. Clean it up a little bit. And our parting. That's fine. I saved this scene, and before I do something else, I want to just quickly throw in here some parts. So we can already see that. Draw the curve here. a nice part here on this area works for sure. Then one comes down here a little bit, one comes down here behind the leg, and then maybe one here. Let's see what that does. First we have to check out the angle map here. Yeah, it's just the default values. That might be good. Yeah, we have some padding going on here. I will increase the resolution now to 100% and we'll do a quick test render once we adjusted this area here, because I don't like it at all. So let's see what's going on. So our hair from the head, we need to adjust our groom head. Let's go in here and go to our brush guides here. We need to get this up here. We need a nice transition. Let's turn off the merge, turn on this guy. So we need some sort of transition here where the hair starts going up. Same in this area. It starts going up, and here also a little bit. Okay, that looks good. So now we have that cut guides here. It needs to recache. And we are fine. So now let's go again to the body and quickly adjust our green guides. You just saw that, like, I instantly know, oh, green, so here the guides are green, so I need to use this guy here. So I just want to have a little bit of a nicer gradient in this area, so we can already see a nice transition in the render. Yep. So let's see how that works when we turn it on now. We're too long here, so we have to adjust the length later on to have a nicer transition, I think. Okay. So I will now set it to 100% and render it. All right, so here's the rendering. It looks crazy, I would say. It looks a little bit like a camel. So we see that the hair, like the groom itself, it's way too long in most areas. We don't have any structure. But what we can see is that the fur in general works kind of well. So now it's just about mixing the different clumps, like medium, small, and big clumps, and mixing the maps more or less, like painting the maps and adjusting our groom so we have decent values. What I forgot before I started the rendering, I multiplied my thickness by 4 now, because we reduced the map, so we have to actually increase the thickness. That's what I did. I just multiplied it so I know what I had as value before. And I think the thickness works quite okay. We can see some more detail here in the hairs, like the single hairs, the flyaways. We have it still the same here. It might even be a little bit too thin in these areas, like here, or that is also maybe because I don't have enough render samples, but that's fine. So I will now adjust the groom, adjust all the maps we have, so we blend the maps better and adjust the length. And when that is done, I will go over everything again in a body refinement video.